Broadcasting live from the Albay PIO News Center, providing you the most exclusive news update from all over the province. This is News at 12. News at 12.
In the local scene, the provincial government of Albay will return to its regular 5-day work week starting June 8 under an executive order issued by Governor Noel E. Rusal. Provincial officials said the move follows an assessment showing that the standard work schedule will better support efficient government operations and public service delivery. Rusal said restoring the regular work week will improve access to government services and help ensure the timely delivery of assistance to Albayanos. Under the executive order, all provincial government officials and employees are directed to resume work under regular office hours beginning June 8. The provincial government expects the change to strengthen frontline services and make government offices more accessible to residents across Albay. The executive order takes effect Monday, June 8. In other story, the Albay Provincial Agricultural Office has installed new farmer leaders as part of AgriFiesta 2026 to strengthen farmer participation in agricultural governance and decision-making. The initiative places representatives from the rice, corn, high-value crops, and fisheries sectors in leadership roles to help bridge the gap between farmers and the government. Provincial officials said the program aims to give farmers a stronger voice in policy making and ensure that agricultural interventions address the challenges faced by the sector. The leadership program was institutionalized through an executive order and is modeled after a national initiative that integrates farmer representatives into government processes. Governor Noel E. Rusal and provincial agriculturist Daryl John Buen Consejo highlighted the province's efforts to achieve agricultural self-sufficiency through continued support for farmers and fisherfolk. Guest of honor Francis Pangilinan administered the oath of office to the newly installed leaders and emphasized the importance of fully implementing the Sagip-Saka Act. Pangilinan said the law allows government agencies to buy foods directly from farmers, helping improve market access and strengthen local food production. Agricultural leaders also expressed confidence that sector-specific representation will help address the unique needs of different farming and fisheries industries. AgriFiesta 2026 continues to recognize the contributions of farmers and fisherfolk while promoting programs that support food security and agricultural resilience in Albay. In other news, the provincial government of Albay has strengthened its support for the fight against misinformation through the Barangay Information and Outreach Network, or Bayan Summit. The gathering brought together information officers, government representatives, and barangay officials to improve coordination in delivering verified and reliable information to communities. Governor Noel E. Rusal emphasized the importance of transparency, accountability, and responsible public service through accurate and timely information sharing. Rusal also warned about the growing influence of artificial intelligence-generated content and social media and urged both officials and the public to remain vigilant against misinformation. He called for the responsible use of social media and emerging technologies to help ensure that citizens receive fact-checked and trustworthy information. The governor highlighted the vital role of information officers and barangay leaders in building informed communities and strengthening public trust through credible communication. The summit also served as a venue to enhance collaboration among information stakeholders and reinforce grassroots communication efforts across Albay. International scene. The arrival of Senator Francis Escudero allowed the Senate to convene on Wednesday, despite the absence of most majority-member senators led by Senate President Senator Alan Peter Cayetano. The 11-member minority bloc was waiting for the majority senators during the scheduled plenary session when Escudero, the lone majority senator, arrived at the session hall, enabling a quorum to be declared with 12 senators present. Senator Vicente Soto III then moved to declare all Senate positions vacant, a motion that was approved, after which Senator Sherwin Gatchalian was elected Senate President pro tempore, Senator Miguel Zubiri was named Majority Leader, and Ray Bantug was elected Senate Secretary. The Senate now faces an 11-11 deadlock between the majority and minority blocs, making it difficult to pass legislation unless senators cross party lines, while Cayetano defended the boycott by claiming that majority members were being systematically removed. In other story, the Philippine National Police will deploy additional police personnel around the Senate amid concerns that ongoing political tensions could trigger protest actions and public disturbances near the legislative complex. PNP Chief General Jose Melencio Nartates Jr. said the National Capital Region Police Office and concerned local police units have been directed to increase police visibility and establish strategic checkpoints around the Senate as preventive security measures. Nartates stressed that the police force remains non-partisan and that the increased presence around the Senate is not meant to interfere with lawful assemblies. Aside from deploying officers, the PNP is coordinating with Senate security officials, local government units, and traffic management authorities to ensure a coordinated response in areas that may be affected by demonstrations. Police units have likewise been instructed to continuously monitor potential threats and conduct intelligence assessments while respecting the public's right to peaceful assembly. In other news, a civil society group has filed an obstruction of justice complaint before the Office of the Ombudsman against Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano, Senator Robin Hood Padilla, and suspended Office of the Senate Sergeant-at-Arms Chief Mau Aplasca. The Albay Filipinos alleged that the three officials played a role in helping Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa leave the Senate while he was under protective custody. The group claims there were coordinated efforts to prevent enforcement of an arrest warrant issued by the International Criminal Court, ICC. The Albay Filipinos convener Kiko Aquino D said Ombudsman is the proper venue for the complaint because it involves public officials who allegedly used the powers and resources of their offices to shield De La Rosa from arrest. De La Rosa is wanted by the International Criminal Court over allegations linked to the Duterte administration's anti-drug campaign. Before his disappearance, he had sought protective custody from the Senate. The complaint comes after De La Rosa left Senate custody following a May 13 shooting incident involving Senate security personnel and agents of the National Bureau of Investigation. The circumstances surrounding the departure remain under scrutiny. And in the news outside the country, Kuwait's military said on Wednesday its air defenses were intercepting hostile missile and drone attacks. The oil-rich Gulf nation, a U.S. ally, has been on the receiving end of Iranian attacks since the United States and Israel attacked Iran and killed its senior leadership in late February. Kuwait's state-run news agency Kuna reported that sirens were heard for the second time that night. On Monday, Kuwait said it downed a volley of missiles and drones, and later its foreign ministry held Iran fully responsible for these heinous attacks. The U.S. Military Central Command has said its forces successfully intercepted two Iranian ballistic missiles targeting American forces based in Kuwait. In other story, Ukrainian drones hit energy and military sites in St. Petersburg early Wednesday morning as officials gathered for a flagship economic forum in the city, Russian and Ukrainian authorities said. 20,000 guests from 130 countries are set to attend the three-day annual St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, an event that was once Russia's premier gathering to court Western investors and businesses. The strikes come a day after a barrage of Russian missiles and drones killed 23 people across Ukraine. St. Petersburg Governor Alexander Beglov said several infrastructure facilities were damaged, but no one was killed in the attack. Drones hit the St. Petersburg oil terminal and a Kronstadt military base in the city, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said, the latest in a series of retaliatory attacks that Kiev calls long-range sanctions. And in the news outside the country, with reference to the Philippines, Taiwan urged Japan and the Philippines to consult with it over their planned maritime boundary negotiations, saying the area involved overlaps with waters where it has rights and interests. Japan and the Philippines announced last Thursday that they would begin negotiations to define the maritime boundary between their exclusive economic zones and continental shelves in accordance with international law. On Monday, Japanese Chief Cabinet Secretary Minoru Kihara said that any agreement reached by Japan and the Philippines on maritime boundary delimitation would not be legally binding on any third party, and therefore there would be no issue under international law. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Mao Ning told a press conference in Beijing that the waters Japan and the Philippines intend to delimit lie east of Taiwan, where China also claims an EEZ and continental shelf. Following the agreement reached by Tokyo and Manila, the China Coast Guard carried out law enforcement patrols in waters east of Taiwan on Monday. Mainland China claims Taiwan as part of its territory and aims to bring the island under its control by force if necessary. The two sides have been governed separately since 1949, when the Chinese Civil War ended. And that's the news at 12, June 4, 2026. We'll be back tomorrow for more news updates. Oh, by the way, we'll be back next week. And that's our news writers, Neil Ruth Hernandez and LJ Lurejo. And on the technical side, Chad Bobis. And our Provincial Information Office, OIC, Maury Gonzalez. And under the supervision of our Governor, Noel Rizal, I am Greg Hallare. Thank you for subscribing. Albay in my heart.